Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're taking a look at Callis and Toll. This video is sponsored by CMO Games. More on that later. So, gotta give Games Workshop props again. I mentioned it yesterday, just how quickly they have been releasing rules for Warcry, and they nailed it, because they've already released the cards for Callis and Toll, and like their little crew. Also, there's some stuff here for Cursed City as well. Not sure if people are really playing through that, but that's an option. There was recently some White Dwarf stuff, and we've got stuff for Callis and Toll as well. Callis and Toll, who are the witch-hunting, city-saving heroes of the mortal realms. While the twin-tailed crusade trundles inexorably across the mortal realms, not all is well on the home front. Deep within the twin cities of Hammerhall, a virulent plague threatens to destabilize the heartlands of Sigmar's faithful. Only Armin Callis, Hanover Toll, and their eclectic band of compatriots have any chance of rooting out the cause. You can find out what happens to the city and enlist the aid of Saviours in the Cinderfall for your own army. This Saturday, with Dawnbringers Book 5, Shadow of the Crone goes up for pre-order, but in the meantime, we wanted to know a little more about the would-be heroes who put the Flesh Eater Courts to the sword in last week's episode of Battle Report on Warhammer Plus. So I absolutely love the story about the Flesh Eater Courts and basically like the tainted blood, the corruption it's causing, and then Callis and Toll essentially trying to root out that evil. I think it's great. Adds tons of character to like the Age of Sigmar world. Explains a lot of what's going on with the Flesh Eater Courts, and then also kind of like humanizes the heroes in the story. So very, very cool. Definitely give it to Games Workshop on that. This article contains a few spoilers for the Black Library story, Cities of Secrets by Nick Korth. You have been warned. Hanover Toll, a witch-hunting agent of the Order of Azure, was first seen when he was sent to the city of Excelsis to investigate the murder of a patrol of Cold Guard Freeguilders. There, he and his Durridin partner Khazrug discovered the sole survivor, who had been blamed for betraying his comrades, his name Corporal Armin Callis. During the attack that killed his men, Callis was exposed to the celestial energies of some shattered glimmerings, and witnessed a vision of the city's destruction. Given the size of the reward for Callis and his otherwise exemplary record, the wily Toll suspected foul play and eventually proved his new friend's innocence in front of a High Arbiter Ordum Vermeer. Unfortunately, Vermeer was at the center of the plot and imprisoned Callis and Toll before unleashing his Tzeentchian cult on the fated path of the city. They escaped, warned Lord Veritant of the Knights Excelsior, and set up to bring Vermeer down while the remaining Free Guilds and Stormcast Eternals broke the cult's hold on the city. Soon after, Callis joined Toll in the Order of Azure rather than continuing his service in the Cold Guard, and the two had several more adventures cleaning up the last dregs of Vermeer's revolt. Now they have recruited a new rogues gallery of specialists to investigate the Kingsblood curse ravaging Hammerhall, an information broker, a master thief, and the indomitable keeper of the key to the city. We saw some of their rules last week, but the Saviours of Cinderfall have more to offer. The well-practiced breaking and entering of Lysa Ravenier allowed the whole band to infiltrate deep into the battlefield, using the Silent and Death ability to pop up where the enemy least expects them. Alright, so I'm assuming this is an Age of Sigmar rule. During deployment, instead of setting up that unit and a friendly Callis and Toll unit on the battlefield, you can place those units to one side and say that they are keeping to the shadows as reserve units. At the end of your movement phase, you can set up this unit wholly within 3 of any terrain features or faction terrain features and more than 9 from all enemy units. Then set up the friendly Callis and Toll unit within 3 inches of this unit and more than 9 from all enemy units. Both units can be set up in the same garrison. Okay, so very cool. So we know they're going to be treated differently in the actual game because there are multiple units. The rules for these heroes, alongside their personal regiments of renown, will be available in Dawnbringers Book 5, Shadow of the Crone. But they're cropping up in other games too. You can field the whole team as a custom warband in Warcry, or take a long road to Ulfenkarn with rules as individual heroes in Warhammer Quest Cursed City. Alright, so very cool. So again, Cursed City, not nearly as popular after like the whole debacle and everything. But the Warcry download, very cool and very timely. Beautiful to have this out before the models even hit the shelf, so people can decide if they want these potentially for Warcry. So the Saviours of Cinderfall, faction rules. The Order of Azure belongs to the Grand Alliance Order. And then special rules, each fighter with the Order Azure rune mark can be included once in your warband. Alright, so the reaction, Grim Resolve. A fighter can make this reaction after they are targeted by an attack, but before the hit rolls are made, remove a d3 damage points allocated to this fighter. Alright, and then we have 5 fighter abilities, all are triples. So basically, each one of your triples is going to correspond to a single guy and what they could potentially do. So right tool for the job, pick an enemy fighter within 3 of this fighter, melee attack actions made by this fighter, this activation that target that enemy fighter score critical hits on a 5+. Triple, give them both barrels. This fighter makes a bonus ranged attack action. The range characteristic for the attack action is double the value of this ability. They will break upon my shield until the end of the battle round. Subtract the value of this ability from the damage points allocated to this fighter by each hit and critical hit from attack actions that target this fighter to a minimum of 1. Alright, so very cool. Basically we have Callis, Toll, and then we have the Stormcast Eternal. We have the ability to crit on 5s in melee. We have the ability to make an extra shooting attack at short range. And then we have the ability to essentially become a massive tank. So then Secret from the Shadows, that's like the cool kind of old lady. So Secret from the Shadows, pick a double, triple, or quad from your opponent's ability dice, roll a dice, and add the value of this ability to that roll. On a 7+, that double, triple, or quad is discarded. Okay, so whatever your ability for this triple is, whether it's a 1 or whether it's a 6, is obviously going to be better the higher it is. And then you can pick from your opponent some key ability, either a double, triple, or quad, and essentially erase it from the game if you can equal 7. So your average dice roll is going to be like a 3 or a 4. So if you have a triple 1, it's pretty much impossible to go off. You need a 6. If you have a triple 6, it's automatically going to go off. And then obviously the difficulty in between. But if your opponent has like a monster or some ability that they rely on every turn, this is actually really good to basically like throw a wrench in their plan. And then finally, triple, tangle them up. This is your like little assassin. Pick a visible enemy fighter within 3 of this fighter. Until the end of the battle round, subtract 2 from the attack's characteristic to a minimum of 1 of melee attack actions made by that fighter. Okay, so you pick one other fighter within 3 of your fighter, and then subtract 2 from their attacks. Again, it's really good against like a strong fighter. Now a quick message from today's sponsor. CMO Games has been selling Games Workshop products online for over 20 years. They carry the full line of Games Workshop products, including Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, necromunda, Blood Bowl, paint tools, and more. Almost all Games Workshop products are priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games takes pre-orders for most Games Workshop products released at their earliest date possible. 12:01 a.m. on Saturday, they go live. Most of these pre-order products are also priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games offer free shipping in the US 48 with an order of $50 or more. Their customer service is top-notch and they ship most orders within 24 hours. Visit CMOGames.com using the affiliate link in the description and let them know that you heard about CMO Games from Warhammer Man. Now back to the video. Alright, so some nice little abilities, and they are basically just in order of the actual characters on the sheet right here, so easy to keep track of who has what. So Callis is okay in melee, 4 attacks at strength 3, 2, 5. And then at range, you have 8 range, 3 attacks at strength 4, 1, 3. 125 points, move 4, toughness 3, 20 life. But potentially critting on 5s when you do 5 damage is pretty big, especially with 4 attacks. And then obviously that makes the strength of those attacks irrelevant. So then for Callis next, 130 points, 4, 4, 18. So a little bit more tough, but not quite as much life. And then shooting attacks are primary focus, 8 range, 3 attacks, 4 strength, and then 2, 3. So not bad. With an extra attack action in there, you could basically be having like potentially like 9 attacks at between 2 and 12 range with strength 4, 2, 3. So pretty good. And then Valis, the keeper of Ashquian, 220 for Valis. So move 4, toughness 6, 30 wounds. So very durable, very tough. So 4 attacks at strength 5, 3, 5 damage. So you could potentially make this guy into like an absolute tank. With that triple, you reduce all the damage incoming to 1. And then in the meantime, you've got 4 attacks at strength 5 doing 3, 5 damage. And then we have Mistress Ferentia, 100 points for her, move 4, toughness 3, 15. So she's a little bit fragile, not exactly a damage dealer, with 3 attacks at strength 3, 2, 4. And at range, she's got 8 range, 1 attack at strength 4 with 3, 6. But being able to cancel out your opponent's abilities with a die roll is pretty awesome. One thing about this warband, obviously, though, is you are massively relying on triples because singles and doubles aren't going to do anything for you, and there's no like special quad. So realistically, you're going to be using like your base stuff, whatever you add into this warband, because it's not a full 1,000 points, or you're just relying on like whatever triple's most useful for the turn. And then the last 2 fighters, we have Lysa Ravinia. So she's going to be able to like take away 2 attacks from an opponent. She's only 75 points. 3 range, which is really nice. 2 attacks at strength 3, 1, 3. And then 4 move, 3 toughness, and 15 wounds. So the 3 range is kind of nice. She's not particularly fast or anything, but removing your opponent's attacks could make it so that she's not just going to die in a single hit. And then Balthus, unfortunately, does not get any bonuses. 95. So move 6, toughness 4, 8 wounds. So pretty fragile. 4 attacks at strength 4, 1, 4. But I mean, realistically, this is your action monkey right here with that 6 move when everybody else is on 4s. So 745 points total. So you're going to have about 255 to play with. Pretty cool. Nice abilities. Definitely not exactly like a game-breaking set of heroes, though. But fun, no doubt. And definitely could play like some nice scenarios in Warcry. All right, and then for Cursed City, we got 10 pages. So you basically have like all of your character sheets, front and back, for if they're inspired. So pretty neat. Basically just load up on characters. And then we've got a character-specific empowerment for Valis as well. So pretty neat and good on Games Workshop to be timely with these things so you can decide, do you want them ahead of time? Obviously, these models are absolutely awesome. I'm definitely going to be grabbing them up. I think they make great D&D heroes as well. Let me know if you're as excited about Callis and Toll and the Warband as I am. Always like to hear back from you guys in the comments. Special thanks to CMO Games for sponsoring the video. Check out the link in the description to save 15% on Games Workshop products. That's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and I'm loving these guys. And I'm out of here.